Guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. This is actually take 2 of this video because I started filming the video this morning to realise that I made a big mistake, and the actual part to the video that I thought I was going to be able to upload has actually already been uploaded, which was pretty awkward. So of course we've had to start again. Now today I am going to take you through my arm day. Everybody, and I mean everybody, because there should be nobody out there that doesn't want a big set of arms, or at least a strong set of arms. So today I'm going to take you through my usual arm day. Now this is not something that I have every single week because I do train an adequate amount of arm volume. My arm frequency is way more than enough without having an arm day the majority of the time. But if I do feel as if some weeks I fall down in that volume, what I'll do is I will incorporate an actual arm day in, which as of recently has been a little bit more often, just because my other sessions have been a little bit more demanding. Therefore, in my opinion and my kind of, from my perspective anyway, if I get to the end of my session and I think, right, my arm work's just maybe not going to be as productive, I'll just leave it till the back end of the week, give myself an actual arm day and put that emphasis on that. As you'll see from today, the approach towards this session is the exact same as any other session, and this is something that I think a lot of people get mixed up with as well, because arm work is not just, or at least should not just be tagging on at the end of the session with not really that much emphasis into it. Just like calf training, just like ab training, in order to be able to actually develop these body parts and create an overall physique, you need to be training them hard. This is not me saying you've got to get turned on like you do for a deadlift set, but in many ways you still have to train them with intensity. You still have to focus on execution, you still have to focus on lifting heavy, you still have to focus on progressive overload, because these things are what's going to allow for your arms to be able to actually improve, which is exactly what you will see today. And if you want a really good set of biceps, really good set of triceps, you want to hit front double bicep shots, back double bicep shots, and you want to have that overall look, then you need to be making sure you train them hard. So I'll take you guys through today's session. If you have any questions on today's session and what I go over, drop a comment down below. If there's anything you guys would like to see on the channel that I have yet not brought, please don't hesitate to let me know. If you can, drop the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I'll catch up with you guys when we get to the gym. Okay, good old EZ bar curls to begin. So I like to rotate between EZ bar and barbell. Again, both of them are just as beneficial, guys. We're not gonna go into too much of the old optimal shit today and what you could potentially get 0.5% out of doing something else. I like an EZ barbell curl, I like a straight barbell curl, so I'm gonna do both of them. Not today, but I will rotate between the both of them. It's very cold today, so it's just trying to get as warm as I can, as efficiently as possible. Not necessarily as warm as I can, as quick as I can, because if you try and get really warm really quick, you'll find that you'll just build your heart rate up and your heart rate will start speeding up, but the actual joints, the tendons, the muscle will not be warm. So remember that, guys. Make sure you're warming up efficiently. Stop trying to get as warm as quick as you can, because anybody can raise their heart rate in 2 minutes, but not everybody can actually warm the muscle up and the bones and the joints in that time. So that is why I'm doing, or you would have seen me anyway, do the bar, do 10s, do 15, and then obviously doing that set there, all for 8, 10 plus reps. So I'm making sure that even though yes, it's my first main movement, it's a compound movement, I'm not just jumping straight in and then doing, say, the first warm-up set for 10 plus and then dropping down to singles to keep that energy for the top end set. I've still got energy for the top end set, but I need to get there and make sure I'm warm and safe and supported, because that's going to stop me running into any niggles. So we'll hit one more set. I'll do this set for, I'm going to say, a good 6 to 8 reps. I'll be happy with that, and then I'll pretty much drop down, take probably no more than a minute, and just go straight back into a back off. From there, we'll move on to a tricep press. So it'll be compound based. I've not decided yet whether I'm going to do a dip or a close grip, narrow grip tricep press. It'll be some form of compound anyway. I like to get the big bread and butter movements in, and then we can move to the cables, we can move to the machines, we can move to the slightly easier work. But I like to still make sure I'm getting them big basics in, hence why we've got a barbell curl in. This is actually not my first preference. I would rather do a narrow grip press on the Smith, but unfortunately the Smith machine has been out of action for quite some time now, and I've not been able to incline press on it, shoulder press on it, and now I can't narrow grip press on it. So we're doing barbell. Again, it's not what I would prefer, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It very much works, and I'm not somebody that'll take a huff over not being able to do something that I would ideally like to do. I will just get on with it. I'll get on with it for this session. I'll lift as well as I can. Again, obviously from a stability perspective, I've not been flat barbell pressing forever, so it's going to be a little bit harder than what I'm normally used to. So again, I'll just take my time again with warm-ups. Probably not be going up near 3 plates, but we'll see how it feels. And again, I'll look to be able to take at least a good working set of 6 to 8 reps, again similar to the barbell curl, and then a nice back off set or 2 of a good 10 plus. Again, I'm very much a fan of sticking within that 10 to 15 rep range on the majority of stuff, and that does go for compound work as well. Like, I love lifting heavy and I'll always get a kick out of that, but when it does come to actually working on developing a body part, yes, the lower rep ranges have got their times and their places, but at the same time, from a bodybuilding perspective, I'm a big fan of that 8 to 12 to 15. So really sticking within that 10 plus rep range for the majority of the time is what I found anyway has helped me a lot. But hopefully 60 kilo doesn't feel too heavy, and we can maybe take it up to 2, maybe 2.5 plates. I need a pair of woolly gloves. This makes me really miss bench press though, because I think closest to something as dangerous as a barbell squat, the nerves before something like a heavy bench. I feel as if you've got 2 types of people who lift. The one person who simply won't go heavy and can't go heavy without a spot, and that other person that will just never have a spot for anything because they've either got used to training themselves, they don't trust anybody else, and they've got the fear of people taking their reps. And I'm definitely that person, which is why I would just rather never have anybody near me. I also feel as if it's off-putting as well, like if my eyesight is somewhere and then like I catch a glimpse of something else happening, I get put off so quickly. But unracking that, especially on this powerlifting setup bench, it definitely makes me miss the good old barbell press. Maybe at some point I'll put it back in, but honestly, I just got to the point last off season where I ran it and just, I got to the point where I was just getting frustrated more because I was obviously trying to train as a bodybuilder, but get as strong as a powerlifter. And in many ways, they can work hand in hand until they just get to a point where you just can't really get that much more stronger unless you change up your training and you actually focus on becoming stronger and not necessarily becoming bigger or more developed. Felt good, but not good enough that I would say I'll have a crack at 3 plates. But it felt good enough to be like, right, I've got the feel of it. I've obviously got my positioning on all that where I need to be and where that bar needs to come down on my chest. So now I'm confident I can take a smoother set at 2.5, and then again I'll drop that probably down to 1.5 and just send it for 10 plus, 12 plus, and then we can move on. Hey! Up! Like I said, when I was coming here, you've almost got to still treat your bicep training and your tricep training like you would your back training, your shoulder training, your chest training, your leg training. You can't just fluff about. You can't just come in and pick up some 5 kilogram dumbbells, do some curls, get a silly little pump, and then leave. You've genuinely got to fucking train your arms. That is one of the biggest things that will determine the development of your arms way before you play the stupid genetic card, way before you play the card of having a specific length of levers, and that's the reason why you just can't fill out your arms. Train your arms really fucking hard for years and then come at me with one of the stupid excuses that the majority of people like to come up with nowadays. Arms are never going to be a body part that you're going to love to train. You're never going to get that excitement out of it. Like I say, you're never really going to have to take yourself away to that place to do something like a bicep curl or a tricep push down. But that doesn't mean that you shy away from doing what's hard, because what's hard is what works. And the fact that nowadays we're in an industry where what's hard just never gets entertained now. And honestly, it's why people keep going back the way, never get better. And it's why the people at the very top who still do the hard, the heavy, the basic, the simple stuff, it's why they'll always remain the fucking best. Because it's what works. Now, I'm actually not entirely sure how this happened. I've somehow disconnected the mics during this part of my training session, which obviously is one of the most suboptimal things on the planet. So I'm just going to go exactly over what I'm talking about here, which is supplementation, which is nutrients, which kind of comes down to your food as well. In order to be able to grow, in order to be able to develop that muscle, guys, we need to be thinking about exactly what we are taking in. That goes for food, that goes for hydration, that goes for supplementation. So in my intra workout, I've still got my intra carbs, I've got my hydro EAA, my essential amino acids, I've still got my level up V2, which is my recovery and performance based supplement. So again, supplementation still should not change. You should still have the same approach of, again, fueling your body with exactly what it needs in order to be able to provide more value towards that recovery and that growth, no matter whether you're training legs or training arms.
Oi, 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 oi.
And the exact same goes for this little segment here. You can hear literally nothing apart from how loud the music is. So I'm going to go over this one again. This movement I'm doing right here, what you just seen, is kind of like a little hybrid between a JM press, a skull crusher, and a narrow grip press. I used to do this growing up all the time, and the reason behind it is because I don't really like extending behind me on a skull crusher. I just genuinely don't get on with it from a perspective of my joints, my tricep feel, and I just can't really work with it that much whatsoever. So I keep it obviously in a more so variation of a kind of JM press, currently still a skull crusher variation. And then from there, I just feel as if I'm just not done after that skull crushing set. So obviously once they are done, I feel as if I've got a little bit more energy in me, but not to give out on the actual skull crusher movement itself. Hence why I bring it down and just kind of finish off the triceps in a more so narrow grip press. So in many ways it's a small superset, but it's something I always used to do growing up, and it's always just it's worked for me. Like, it's always been one of them ones that I've just got on super well with. I get a silly pump out of it. I can still train heavy in that actual skull crusher movement, get on really well with it, and then anything that's left I just come down into the narrow grip press. From here we moved on to the good old single arm alternating bicep curls. Again, a staple for me. I genuinely just love an alternating bicep curl. Obviously, you can do many different variations of this one. You can be on a cable machine, you can do dumbbells. You could literally have a machine unilateral single arm bicep curl, or even like a dual hand bicep curl. There's loads of variations, but for me, I genuinely just love the good old seated or standing alternating dumbbell curl.
Hey! 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 Grab! Anything you guys get from HR Labs or Gasp or Better Bodies, always use KEFI15. I'm putting it out there right now. Never use anybody else's code. Only ever use KEFI15. And if you do that, I'll invite you to our wedding. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Fair. Okay, take that up. Before I actually wrap this session up, because we are almost near the end, another EZ bar curl in this session. Would you believe it? Another one. Except this time I'm moving away from being that slightly wider grip to that more narrow grip. So in my books, they're two totally different movements because they are naturally targeting two totally different areas of the bicep. And we wrap this a one right up here, guys. Some narrow grip barbell curls to finish on the cables for biceps, and then we actually moved to one of my all-time favorites, the tricep overhead extension machine. Now, a little bit of posing here, as you can see, pretty full. I would definitely say we are the biggest that I've ever been. I would definitely say for this close post show as well, we're around maybe 14 weeks now. I'm definitely in the best position I've ever been. I'm holding on to some relatively nice details still, which is obviously a good thing. Food is still good. Appetite is back up on the rise after that old illness, which I'm very happy with. But yeah, finishing off here with the Atlantis overhead extension. Very hard piece of equipment, but honestly, it feels incredible. But that's going to be it for this one, guys. Hopefully you can take something from it. If you could, amazing. Any questions, drop them down below. Drop the video a like if you can. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. And I'll catch up with you all in the next video.